866-509-7268. We go to the phone lines. Robert in Vancouver, Canada. Robert, how are you?
Hi, Dennis.
What's up?
Let me update you and your audience about the craziness going on here in Canada with our human rights commissions, which you seem to be intimately familiar with through Mark Stein.
Yeah, Stein laid it out to me off the line one day, and geez, it's maddening.
Well, some of the things that go on here, unfortunately, seem to transcend down to the United States a few years later.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind that when someone makes a complaint to our Human Rights Commission, which for your audience members that are not aware, it's like a quasi-judicial, what we call kangaroo court. But when someone lays a charge, it doesn't cost them a cent. You know, it might go on for 5 years, but it doesn't cost them a cent. All their lawyers are provided for by the government. But the person who they're charging, the defendant, they have to pay 100% of their legal costs themselves. So the latest two came out of Ottawa. The first one was a couple, yuppie couple, took their new baby, 6 months old, to a sort of upscale exclusive wine bar, designed for people mostly that are dating. Mm-hmm. And the baby starts crying, and the owner said, "I'm sorry, but you can't have your baby here. It's not the right environment." They took him to the Human Rights Commission. The second thing that happened, again in Ottawa, I don't know what's crazy, what's happening in our nation's capital. This young woman has a mohawk. She goes to a barber shop, asks them to cut it off, and they said, "I'm sorry, but, we don't cut women's hair here, but you can go next door to a women's salon." She didn't agree with that. She's taking them to the Human Rights Commission.
Well, are you and an increasing number of Canadians ashamed of your country?
Oh, it's absolutely embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. I think the problem is that the average person, the average voter, news about this sort of thing just doesn't get out to, the mainstream media doesn't really print a lot of it, or it's not a big story.
Yeah, nowadays, Robert, the squeaky wheel oils itself, don't they? They always get their turf because their whole life, most people have lives, they have causes, so they mark it out, and they're indefatigable about pursuing their mini agendas, and it gets so tiresome. But at some point, will not the Canadians that I know, and my wife's Canadian, and my in-laws, won't they, I don't know, step up, or is it by the boards? Has it gone too far? Is there any way to pull it back, or no?
What I'm hoping is that these two recent examples, and now we're all making jokes about, what's going to come next along the line, but that we're thinking that these two recent examples are just so outrageous, just so stupid. When you have people in Iran, women in Iran, buried up to their neck,
yes,
and stoned to death, and that's a real human rights violation. But look at what we claim to be human rights violations in Canada. We just hope it's so outrageous that enough people are going to say enough is enough, and we need to just ban these stupid things.
Well, thanks for the update, Robert. And boy, it's a desultory state up there. I'm sorry to hear that, because I love me some Canada. But if they're getting to that point, well, I don't know, issue a travel warning. If that's what's going to happen if you go to Canada, that you lay yourself open to that sort of nonsense. For God's sakes, pulling the judgment at Nuremberg card on a whiny kid in a plane. And by the way, what do you do when the kid has an Indian haircut? What Indian tribe was that, Christian? Was it Iroquois, or what was he saying?
Well, there was a Mohawk.
Mohawk.
Yes.
All right, sorry, I got there's the worst of the problems. A baby with a Mohawk smoking.
Littering.
There you go. A little Travis Bickle, baby. That is the really dangerous one.